Welcome to another season of Healing Her Halo. I'm your host, Pay Murray, and I'm so excited to be here with you for another season. And this season is about having patience with yourself, giving yourself some grace. And the more you do that for yourself, the more you're able to do that with others. Having patience with yourself improves your relationships because you give not only yourself more grace, but the people you love more grace as well. So, stay tuned for this episode where I'll be diving into what God is placing on my heart today, just about our journeys and how we can build resilience for that organically. My life ain't been no crystal stair. It's had tacks in it and boards torn up. You know, I actually performed that poem when I was in school, and I never thought, in grade school, I mean like elementary school, and I never knew how resonant that poem was going to be in my life. And for those of you who've been following me for a long time, you know my story from 2016. I was shot twice, held hostage for 3 hours in the Pulse Nightclub shooting. And that experience of tragedy, extreme tragedy and horror, put my life on a path that I never thought it would be on. And now, even fast forwarding to 2020, when we all experienced a level of tragedy and collective trauma that we never thought that we would in our lifetimes. But during that year, what also happened in my personal life was I lost my brother Kevin. And it was so untimely. He was so young, in his early 30s, and I'm not that far away from my early 30s, you know? So during that time, it really shocked me in a way of just dealing with grief and understanding life and death. And it sent me down this path of starting this podcast for healing and healing for real. Because since 2016, I think I've just been getting by, just getting by, just doing the best I can, you know, but also putting on this exterior front of I'm okay and I'm this warrior, I'm this emblem of hope for people. When inside and at home, and my husband knows, I was in hell in my own mind, in my own space. But the beautiful thing about God is that He can turn your hell into heaven, just like that. And we all have access to that. So if you feel like things are on fire in your life right now, I totally get that. I totally understand that. But God is accessible. And this season is also more about sharing my faith with you, because my faith has been the cornerstone of everything in my life. It's been healing for me. Connecting with God, spending time with God each day, spending time with God in the rising as soon as we get up. Those are the most pivotal times for me. You know, now I'm sharing that time with also being productive, and I'll get into that because I'm also writing a book, Have Patience. And I'm really excited to share that with you guys as well. And I'm also doing this new program, AuthorHER. So I'm going to be sharing all of that. So we're going to get into that in the episode. But right now, just focused on setting the tone for this season. And for those of you who hadn't already heard, but I do have a new song out called Pin Cry with Ty Scott King. Woo-hoo. And Ty is actually on the show. So if you go back to the first episode of the season, we're going to be talking about the creative power of healing and writing. And it's such a great episode. I encourage you to go listen to it. Writing in general, just even if you're journaling, it doesn't have to even be creative sometimes. It's a healing power in that. And that's what we really dive into. It's such a great read. It's such a great read. Hey, the book is also coming out too, Have Patience. But just back to the topic. So I don't want to get distracted, you guys. But this is my first time just being fully transparent with you. This is my first time really focusing more on solo episodes this season. So bear with me. It's going to be a growing curve, but I do want to get into it. So let's just get right into it. So building resilience for the journey, having patience with yourself, giving yourself grace. These are all things that are real survival tactics that are going to help you thrive in your life. And I know this because I've lived it. I have gone through some of the most heart-wrenching, heart-aching things. And did I get a therapist? No. Did I get professional help or seek professional assistance? I did have some help and some assistance, but I didn't stick to it, and I'll get into that as to why. But God has been my everything. And that supernatural, that divine interaction, that miraculous element to our life, we have to recognize. And I'm so grateful. I'm just so grateful that God has allowed me the clarity, the sanity to be able to be here with you today. I got to tell you, I did not invest in therapy as much as I probably should have and probably will in the future. But connecting with God, writing, being creative, having vision for my life has been the most important thing to getting on the journey of healing. And I want that for you. I would love that for you. I would love real, genuine healing for you. But sometimes we don't always share the truth about our journeys, and we don't always share what's really going on. So you don't really know. You don't really know what's working for other people. You don't really know how they're healing. And sometimes, in the beginning of surviving the Pulse Nightclub shooting, I had agents and I had producers working with me, and they all wanted to basically know, what's the framework? What's the framework? If you figure out your framework, then we can help you. And all I could tell them was, it's God. The framework is God. The framework is tapping in with the Lord. That's my framework. That's how I've been healing. That's how I've been getting by, And for them, obviously, they weren't faith-based, agents or producers. So they're like, girl, call us when you get the framework, basically. Call us when you get the steps of how you healed. And at the time, it was very frustrating because I couldn't really put it into words or verbalize my healing journey. And it felt at the time like a disadvantage, because I would see people, booking speaking engagements, inspiring audiences, and getting book deals. All sorts of things were happening for other people. And I just thought that maybe it was because I couldn't articulate, in a tangible way for people, at least in the way that people wanted me to frame it, as to how I was being able to survive something like I had went through. But as life continued on, things just kept happening. And I'm sure your life isn't just one experience that may be challenging. Maybe your life is filled with several experiences that are challenging. And that's what it was like for me, several challenging experiences. And it became more and more clear of how important God was in my life. And I just really had to own that. But through asking God for wisdom, asking for the ability to articulate what is helping me, because maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I'm not able to have the right perspective of what's really helping me. And God started to show me, there are things that you're doing through your faith, by your faith, right, that are helping you heal. And those are the topics that I'm going to get into in this season, as far as those tangible, takeawayable, if that's even a word, tools that actually helped me heal. But writing has been at the top. So that's why there's going to be a special emphasis on writing this season, and how we can do more of that. Even if it's just when you wake up, maybe even before you get into your prayer time. Because I know for me, when I get into my prayer time, it's like I need that time with God. It's me and God time. Everybody else, leave me alone, right? But maybe we can share some of that time, because those are our most productive hours, right? So getting out our creativity, because when we're being creative, and so many people have said this, and I've always thought this, but there's actually research to support this now. But your creativity, when you're being creative, you're not in fight or flight mode. You're not nervous. You're not stressed out. Your soul is at ease. And I want more of that for you. But the truth is, you got to spend that time, right? And a part of having patience with yourself, and a part of creating time just to be still, you have to make the time. And for those of you women who are spiritual and you do already prioritize time to be with God, my recommendation is, you do your prayer time, you do your devotional time, but also spend some time being creative and productive, because it just sets a great tone and a mood for the day. So a special emphasis on creativity, on healing, on spirituality this season. So that's what you can look forward to. Along with some of these solo episodes, I'm going to be talking to some really amazing women. Some amazing women of God, especially women who are also writers, women who are also creatives. So I'm really excited to just dive into this session today, because let's just start with, my personal journey, because it's not all bad. Things happen, and sometimes multiple things happen, but God has really given me some anchors in my life. And those anchors are important. Your family, your support system are your anchors. Your creativity, these tools to help you regulate your nervous systems are your anchors, So these are all important things that you have to create a system for yourself. And go check out the interview that I did with Unfiltered Stories. It's more of like a long form storytelling format. But I get to this, and I actually posted a clip on my Instagram. So if you go over to, so I have two Instagram identities, guys. I have at Pay Carter, at PAECARTER. That's my personal page as of now. And I have my music page, my at Paymuray, PAEMURRAY music. That's my music Instagram. And then, of course, you can also follow Healing Her Halo at Healing Her Halo on Instagram. But I'm sharing these clips from my interviews that I've done, or these long form storytelling that I've done. And I realized that there are a couple of great points in there. And from the one that I recently did with Unfiltered Stories, there was this emphasis that I made about creating systems to help you thrive. And that's one of my most listened to podcast episodes on Healing Her Halo, is about creating automated systems to help you thrive. But there are other systems outside of artificial intelligence and outside of automated systems. If you want to know more about that interview, go check it out. That was on last season. But what are the frameworks that you can incorporate into your day, as far as systems within your day that will help you thrive and help you think less, so you can spend more time being spiritual, spend more time being creative, right? Because time is finite. We're here for a good time, not a long time, right? So we got to make the best of our days. We got to make the best of our life. We got to make the best of our time. So creating these systems, and for now, to-do listing, right? If that's even a thing, like to-do listing, but just like creating several different lists within my notes. Like actually on my notes, I would show you those lists, but my phone is actually recording this episode right now. But for those of you who are listening as well, iPhone has this app called Notes, right? I have several different notes that help me save mental energy throughout the day, because I go back to that note, especially my master to-do list, right? There's several things on there that I know that I need to do, but I narrow it down to 2 or 3. And I actually got this from Ed Milet, amazing speaker, such a, gifted speaker. Make sure to check out his podcast as well. But keep it to 2 to 3 things, and you do this the night before, so you can save that energy, and your mind will go to work for you by the time you wake up. So just like today, like on my to-do list for last night, recording this episode was on my to-do list, among some other things, 2 to 3 other things. So that is something that can help you spend more time with God, spend more time in your creativity, getting to work, doing the things, being the person that is going to show up in these arenas, and spending that time and that energy on focusing in the areas where you do need healing and that still need some attention. And you're not stressed out about, what outfit you're going to wear. You're not stressed out about, where your shoes at. It's just saving you that mental energy when you have your to-do list and everything all together. And I'm borrowing from so many people right now, so many of my favorite people. Terry Savelle Foy, those of you that know Myron Golden, those of you that know there's this one other guy, but there's so many amazing people. And I'll even link my sources of resources that I listen to that help me kind of reframe and refocus from my healing journey. So I'll share those with you throughout the season as well. But just setting the tone, Just setting the tone. Didn't want this one to be long, and we're just getting started. But just know this, you're not alone. Healing is not a linear journey. It's ebbs and flows, it's ups and downs, but we're on this journey together. And if you have a story to tell, and you want to tell it in book form, I want to help you do that. I have created a platform called AuthorHER. AuthorHER. Why? There are 81% of people in the world want to write a book, but just know 81% of people do not write a book, and even less than that even begin writing the book. Whether they want to publish it, 81% of people want to publish their book, less than that even write their book. So I want to be here to help you do that. So if you're interested, be sure to click some of the links in my bio, on my Instagrams, but also in the description of this podcast, because there is a schedule link that I can have a one-on-one with you to talk about your book ideas and put them into basically on paper, right? Because in the interview that I have with Ty Scott King, she talks about the importance of putting things on paper and how important that is, because when you see it, it becomes real. And there's so many other amazing benefits to just writing in general. That's why we're going to be putting a special emphasis on writing this season, spirituality, being creative, all of those things, and how they help you heal. And when you're being creative, you're no longer, basically in fight or flight mode, surviving, but you're thriving. So that's why I'm calling all aspiring authors, all aspiring female authors, especially all of you women that listen to the show who have a book in your heart. And I know you got a book inside of you. I know you do. I know you have a book inside of your heart. And I'll go into the deeper reasons of why I created AuthorHER throughout the season as well. But AuthorHER was inspired through my own rejection. And I had to go through my own healing journey, even with self-publishing my book, because the reality is the reason why I self-published my book is because so many publishers turned me down. And I had a literary agent, and she was really rooting for me. She loved me so much, and that's why she wanted to represent me. And I tell you, she went to every major book publisher you can think of, HarperCollins, Penguin Random House. Everybody said no. And the reason why they said no wasn't because the concept was horrible. They just didn't know how to market it. They didn't know where I would fit. They didn't understand how my story would sell. That's why they said no. And I had to deal with that hurt and that rejection. And that alone, that hurt of rejection, those of you who've ever been rejected by anybody, anything, any opportunity, you know how heavy that feels. It hurt. And she told me, my literary agent told me, you should publish this yourself. You should publish yourself. And I'm like, how to do that? And she explained to me of where to go, how to do it. I want to share that with you. If you're a woman who's an aspiring author, you have a book in your heart. You've had this book in your heart for years. You know exactly what you want to say, how you want to say it. And to be honest, I can't tell you how to become a bestseller. I don't even have a bestseller. The reason why I wrote my book, it was therapy for me. And I needed to tell my story. I needed the world to know my story from my point of view. And I didn't want the truth distorted. So my intention for writing my book, Survived and Live, wasn't about becoming a bestseller. And perhaps that's why it wasn't. And for you, maybe you just want to tell your story. And you just need to know how to do that. I can show you how. I can't promise you that it's going to be on the New York Times bestseller, but I can show you how to publish it. I can give you some tips on writing it. I can show you everything that I know. I can tell you everything that I know, and you take it and run with it, and maybe you'll be the bestseller. But I just thank you in advance for trusting me with your stories. And over the years, people have asked me, Patience, how have you published your book? How did you publish your book? But nobody really knew the other side of it. Like, the reason why I published my book is because I was rejected and turned down by every major publisher that's out there. And if you go to my website, paymarae.com, and go to the AuthorHER tab, you'll see a little bit more about the backstory with AuthorHER and why I wrote it. Oh, why I wrote it. Even though I am writing another book, have patience again. But through rejection, right? And God will use that hurt. He'll use that pain to help you be of service to others. So that's what we're getting into this season. So many different things, so many different topics, different tools, different resources that I'm so happy to share with you. So stay tuned for Healing Her Halo this season. It's going to get interesting. And if you have a story that you want to tell, I want to help you tell it. So make sure you connect with me. Go to the links that are in the description, in my bio, on Instagrams, especially at Healing Her Halo. If you want, go to Healing Her Halo right now on Instagram, and you'll find everything that you'll need in the bio. So stay tuned, and I hope this put a little spark back into your halo today.
I bled truth on a torn page, whispers in ink when I couldn't find the words to pray. Trauma tried to silence me, but I found freedom in the lines God designed.